Um, this was many years back, Sakar Murli, when Baba talked about serviceable children are being invited to come and give a talk. And Baba understands that maybe that soul doesn't know how to give talks. That's why they want others to come. The times have changed now. Whether you know how to give talk, but you still want to invite others so that you can give newness to the family and the souls. And I think this age, the new age, Sangam Yuga, is becoming more and more wanting new things. Brahmins wants newness, change, and then they would survive. Otherwise, a lot of people say, oh no, Sakar Murli is just the same. Baba talks about soul conscious, Baba talks about remembrance, and so we like Avyakt Murli. And at one point, many years back, they told Dadu, Dadu, we want more Avyakt Murli in the week than Sakar Murli. And Dadu said, no, whole week will be Sakar Murli, and once a week will be Avyakt Murli. Because we just don't want to entertain our ears, but we want to make our soul powerful. And so the soul needs a balance of Sakar and Avyakt to be more and more powerful. And this is what I remember. And now it's interesting. One was, to invite other souls to your centers and countries, but now it's like online. So the whole world wants to invite the whole world to share, and no borders and no barriers, no visas and no COVID certificates. We just take the time out. And interesting, this online class is taking us beyond time and beyond limitations, borders and barriers. So sometimes if it is India, then if their class is at 6 o'clock, then ours is like, 3.5 hours behind. So you can imagine it's Amrit Vela, and it doesn't matter, whatever the time is. Sometimes even 2:30 in the morning, and we want to give a class. And so it's interesting how slowly this situation of the world is contributing to us coming closer to our destination. So we are beyond language because we don't worry about what language you speak, but the translation is there. We are even beyond time and borders and all the limitations. So we're going into the unlimited world slowly. So golden age will be created. But before golden age is created, in the confluence age, I think we've finished our iron part of it, and we are now entering into the golden part of it. I feel that way. And so our confluence age, Sangam Yuga, should be so powerful that we call it the diamond age. Every time, wherever I am serving day and night, I am just accumulating treasures. And can you imagine in the early days, we used to go to Madhuban twice a year, maybe to sustain ourselves, refresh ourselves, but also to return service. And here we haven't been to Madhuban over a year and a half now. And so Madhuban has come to all of us. That's what I feel. When we listen to Bap Dada or the Dadis, I don't know how we're going to feel when we go to Madhuban, because we won't see Dada Janki, we won't see Dada Gulsar. But this is the time we were expecting anyway. But we will be grown so much and matured that we will feel their presence wherever they are. But they will sustain Madhuban and Brahmins in Madhuban. I mean, I remember when Bapdada's part finished in December 2018, and we took new Brahmins to Madhuban, and it was revised Murli for Bapdada. But the environment was so powerful that the souls were even sustained from the revised Murli. They didn't have any, complaint that we haven't met Baba. So that's how Baba is sustaining, and the Dadis will sustain, and the confluence age will sustain. Otherwise, Sister Debbie talked about many projects we've been doing in Africa. And of course, I was born in Africa. I was born in Zambia. I met the BKs in 1974 when I was very young. My whole family is Brahmins. My uncle invited, the Brahma Kumaris to Zambia, Lusaka. The sisters and the brothers lived with us, and Nabi Gulsar also lived with us. Of course, that time we had a center. And so I was in school, I was in high school, and I met Baba. So born in a Hindu family, but not practicing so much Hinduism, educated in a Christian school, and brought up in a Western African society. When I say Western African society means, of course, it was Africa, but very westernized. And so there was this Western influence a lot. And so I was brought up in that society rather than any other. And standing on crossroads, what to understand, what to not, what to do. The parents would pull you towards their culture. The friends would pull us to the Western culture. The school would pull us to another culture. And here Baba brought the Brahmin culture into my life. So I was so lucky. I was just 13. And when I went to Madhuban, Baba said that, you're number one Brahma Kumari. Can I stamp, And I didn't understand anything what it meant. But anyway, I said, yes, Baba. And then I decided to dedicate my life to this service. That was after a couple of years after I finished my school. And I had no idea. But after a few years, when I was based in Nairobi, Baba one time, in those days, every Thursday we used to offer bhog to Baba. And Sister Vedanti being the medium, trans medium, she would bring messages. And Baba said to me a message saying, child, you're the first Kumari and the first teacher of Africa. That's when I realized, otherwise I never remembered, that I was the first Kumari and the first teacher of Africa. And so what does that mean to you? Not that it boasts your ego, but it creates more responsibility. And then that's when I remembered I have to make people like me, equal to me. And so I have a lot of responsibility. Whatever I do, others will follow. Whether they follow or not, but my responsibility is that I must be careful and be attentive. And of course, Lokik nature, the Lokik father, Kaka, actually created that in us, all four brothers and sisters, that you must never be scared of anything. If you really want to be scared, just be scared of untruthfulness and dishonesty, nothing else. And so there was never such fear. Of course, little was there, but after becoming Babas and understanding our soul, the Lokik father even taught us you only die once. Don't keep on killing yourself with fear every now and then. So that courage was also there. And the Lokik mother put that understanding that even if you become the most professional person in the world, or even if you become a great Didi in the institution, to work in the kitchen is the most elevated karma and service. Never ever say that I will not cook in the kitchen or work in the kitchen. It's a very elevated service. And today Baba talked about that even if you don't know how to give class, but look at the soul working in the kitchen, receiving so much blessings by giving a lot of love to others and serving them. So there was a balance from the Lokik life, Lokik parents, that we focused on a lot. Whether somebody went into business, the other one went somewhere else, I became a Brahma Kumari, but this quality was there. And so when Sister Debbie was talking about Toli, it's been in the system and in in nature, sanskara, that I would love to feed souls a lot. And so one is my passion to serve, like go out, meet people, share Baba's knowledge, create different services. Like, when we were on, of course, the thought was from Sister Vedanti, that right to God and then pause for peace and all that. But I always wanted to go out and serve, irrespective, no limitations, whether there's infrastructure, whether there's danger, not danger. You just have to serve other souls. So that was there. But the other thing was that when you have a very organized, perfect kitchen, and you make Brahma Bhojana and you serve others or give toli, that's fine. That's Brahmin nature. But if you have nothing and you need to create something and serve souls, that is creativity. And I love doing that, whether you get something or not, whether you have facility or not, create something, make toli, and give to Brahmins. So that is a passion also, very deep passion. And so, I remember when we were doing Cause for Peace in Kenya in different counties, but we covered whole of Africa with Pause for Peace. Only 2 countries are left, and the lockdown came, so we haven't been there. 2 countries, Comoros and Reunion. Otherwise, we've been everywhere. And so um, I was in a county in Kenya, which is very war-torn area. People fear that area a lot. It's like Al-Qaeda area, Al-Shabaab area. And so I wanted to go there. And a lot of people told me, you can't go there, it's dangerous. And I felt I wanted to go. I wanted to go and serve. And I was, doing pause for peace in 1 or 2 banks in a very safe area. And one of the manager told me, I come from that area. I said, have you got friends there? Because I would like to go there. He says, that's fine. I'll give you the contacts. I'll even inform them they're working for the same branch and they will receive you. Now, to go was a story. So I was just talking to one of our Kenyan friends who was hosting us in Lamu. And so I said, I want to go to this area, And they say that, yeah, we know a person who drives there. He takes a car, a taxi. We can hire it. I said, all right. But at night, last thing, a few Brahmins, souls told me, don't dare go there. Please, we're telling you, it's very dangerous. So I didn't want to do a service where I create more problems for Brahmin family, but I definitely wanted to go and serve the souls. So I just slept over it. Next day morning, Amrit Vila, I did my Amrit Vila and told Baba, Baba, if you want me, please give me a signal. Otherwise, I'll just leave it. And the next thing I hear is I got a phone call. And this person said, I'm the cab driver and I can take you there, Tana River. I said, how much and what and how. He gave me a lot of confidence. So we were 2 sisters and said, all right, we want to go. And we started our journey. It wasn't a very easy journey, quite scary. So, I don't show fear outside, but deep down in the mind, there was little concern. Baba, let us all go safely and come back safely so I don't create any problems for anyone. And when we arrived there, these people were so happy. The souls very happy because the media, the political situation neglects that area and nobody wants to go there. Even the government is supporting, but they're very, fearful, everybody. But when I arrived there, they were so happy. And this soul told me, the person who was with us from the bank, say, sister, you've come all the way here to bring the message of peace to all of us. And that is love for us, humanity. So even if I have to spare a couple of hours from my work to help you, I am more than happy. And he spent the midday, half a day with us, and we did programs there. We did Pause for Peace for his company and other places. And before dark, we left again and we came back safely. And I was thanking Baba and Rama so much that Baba, we had a thought that we wanted to go physically to that soul place. Of course, we can go through the mind also, and do service through the mind, which we've been doing now in the lockdown. But I wanted to go there in person and meet souls, and this is how I was in Somalia. And for pause for peace, I was only alone with Baba, nobody. So when I took the flight from Addis Ababa, people were looking at me. This Indian lady in a white sari is going to Somalia for what? Huh? Because in Somalia, we do have a lot of foreigners, but they're in the green zone, not in the red zone. And they're all maybe the police and, the UN and all these people, the Peace Corps and all that. But nobody who looks like me in a white sari, spiritual Indian lady. So they were all looking at me on the flight. And I kept on telling myself, look, the flight attendants are ladies. And they come all the way here, to serve. So why can't I come? And so that was fine. But when I came to the immigrations and they were trying to, give me permission to enter the country, Mogadishu, in the city, they asked me why I want to come to Somalia, And it was interesting with a clean and a clear intellect. I said, I was born in Africa and I've been serving in Africa and the world. I've seen the whole world, but I haven't seen my continent yet. The only picture and vision my continent is through media, maybe newspapers or television. And so I would love to go and see that land. I would love to touch this land and give the peaceful vibrations to this land. I don't just want to depend on media. And they felt so good. They said, wow, that's wonderful. Thank you for doing that. So they don't understand service. So I said, when I have my annual leave, I decided to come here and spend some time here rather than go and see the world. And they were just so appreciative that thank you for coming. Of course, I was not allowed to go into the red zone, but I was in the green zone for 4 days, and I did pause for peace for the people there. And it was very interesting how, their mind is constantly in doubt and fear. And so I was just walking. I could walk in the green zone, but even in the green zone, there were limited areas. And I was walking around near the airport outside, and I had my bag because my documents and things were in there. So suddenly a few soldiers came and surrounded me, with their machine guns. And I have no idea what they were talking. It was Arabic. And I said, what happened? What did I do? I was just walking around. But can you imagine in that part of the world, to walk is even a crime, sort of, yeah, because they feel so scared, insecurity. And so they told me to put my bag away. They brought the sniff dogs, they sniffed me, they sniffed the bag, and then they put my bag into the X-ray, and then they said, okay, madam, you can go, sorry. And I asked, what was it? So one of the person told me that we have so many car bombs and, human bombs and all that, bomb blast, that they doubt every person walking around. So can you imagine in Iron Age, we've taken the basic human rights that you can't even walk in open air. And that is human beings who has created so much barriers and borders. Anyway, I was fine. I got scared because they surrounded me in a circle with these machine guns and soldiers, but I didn't know what it was. And then I just went back to my hotel. But I was just sitting there for my evening meditation, and I said, Baba, thank you. Thank you for giving me these experiences, because my brothers and sisters are going through this quite often. And if I stay in my comfort zone and, my beautiful protected Baba's houses, I would never, ever know what the people of the world are going through. Of course, that doesn't mean that you must go into dangerous places every now and then and create problems, but this was just an experience I'm sharing. And so, yes, not that Africa is everywhere like that. Where I'm sitting now in Harare, it's one of the most beautiful places. Environment, infrastructure, weather, food, everything. important for me and my personal experience. Okay. And so, in that way, Baba has given us these opportunities. Thank you so much, Sister Judy, and the Halifax family, and whoever else is online. Thank you, and my regards to everybody from everybody in Zimbabwe. Thank you, and Om Shanti.
Om,
Any questions, suggestions?
Om Shanti Pratibha, Ben. Thank you so much for that.
Those experiences that you've had in the face of danger or violence, I am imagining, I mean, they're going to increase, and we're probably going to have to be out of our comfort zone. So we probably, not even that we're going to want to look for it, but it will come to us. Do you feel that as well?
Absolutely. Yes, I do, David.
And advice, wisdom.
Advice. Advice, detach and loving. When I'm detached, I don't get involved. So I don't even get emotionally involved. Detach and then loving. And in that way, it doesn't touch you. I've had so many experiences like that. But not only that, even like service, you are in some area like Baba talked about Muslim area now. Baba talked about Muslim souls. So last year, I spent a lot of time in North Africa. And North Africa, to get visa is also another story because it's Islamic countries. But I traveled in all of the North African countries. And I was in Sahara, Western Sahara, which is not officially yet, declared as a country, but they themselves believe that they are different from Morocco. And I was there. And again, the same thing, when I was going, I had no idea where I was going. I didn't know anything. And I was on the flight, and an Indian brother came to me. He was from Pakistan, a Muslim brother. And he says, Sister, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Leon, Lion, that is Western Sahara. And to do what, And I was also in a question mark what to tell him. But anyway, that's it. We talked, and he was on the flight with us. He was with, I think he was with the peace, what UN peace something. Anyway, so then when I finished everything, the immigrations and all that, and I went out, he was waiting for me, and he says, Sister, I want to drop you to your hotel. I don't want you to go in the taxi. So he was very kind enough to take me to the hotel. And there I met so many different nationalities, and I was sharing cause for peace with them. And I even stayed there for 3 days, and it was very good service. So one step of courage and multi-million fold Baba's help. This is the experience of the version Baba talks about every now and then. This is my experience. But if I don't take one step of courage, then I will not experience the multi-million fold help. And that one step of courage is not this physical step, it's the mental step. First, I have to be very courageous here. And then, of course, the physical.
So you're thinking of Baba talks about being the mobile service center. So you're not necessarily you're not thinking of bringing them back to Baba's house, but rather you're bringing Baba to them. It's like now we have
Yes,
that
yes,
skip the
yes.
dishes. Yeah.
The sowing the seed. Then if it has to germinate and grow, it will do it. But just sowing the seed.
Tell us about this detachment and how you achieve that.
I was a very, very, what should I say? Very, I don't know the correct word, but I would say I was a very sentimental person in my Lokic life. Even as a child, I used to express my sentiments a lot, always getting involved in people's emotions and all that. And I go back like I was in kindergarten, maybe. I was just 4.5 year old, and I was in class, and our teacher asked why this young boy is not in class today. Why is he absent? and his friends mentioned that he lost his mother. Can you imagine 4.5-year-old? And he lost his mother, so there's funeral and all that. And it touched my heart so much. My mind started thinking so much. Who's going to dress him to school? Who's going to pack his lunch? Because my mom does all these things for me. And who's going to do all that? So next day he came very shabby in class after 2 or 3 days. And everybody was laughing at him. And it affected me a lot. So you can imagine how I was as a soul. It affected me a lot. I had a huge lunchbox, so I started sharing with him in school. And so, that's how emotional and sentimental I was. When I came to the Brahma Kumaris, I knew I had to change this. It doesn't work, and I started working on myself that I don't want to change my sentiments. Let it be there the way they are. But what I want to do is connect it to Gyan. So for example, if I feel somebody is deprived of food or food or clothes, I would love to share that. It's okay, I'll share food, but let me give a lot of vibrations to the soul that their karmic account changes and turns into something else. So I had this soul working for me in the center. She was a domestic helper. Naturally, a domestic helper receives such little, wages. But I always felt, rather than giving her so much physically, let me give her good wishes and pure feelings all the time. So I replaced that, feeling merciful and sorry.
Too much.
Okay, I think she's frozen now.
Shanti. All right. So it's not that I have to support them physically all the time and carry them through, but my thoughts and my state of mind will also help. In fact, it didn't only help the opposite person, but it helped me more to become detached and loving. And when I recognized that my emotions and sentiments has changed, is when we started our Serve Africa. We moved out of the comfort zone and moved into places where, it was so remote and no structure and so much of poverty and a lot of things. And I remember we had one soul who came to help us from Europe. She was very lovely soul, but what happened was that she was sent for a reconnaissance into a country. And that country was not so bad, mind you. It was fine. But she met this lady who was working for her, and her daughter had illness. And this person, the Brahmin, a white body Brahmin, got so involved in this maid's daughter, to the extent where she stopped serving in South Africa. She went back to her country. She adopted this girl. She adopted and she took her to Europe because she can't just take an African girl from Africa to Europe without adopting, And then she treated this, but we lost her as a Brahmin, That's when I realized that if I was still that, sentimental person, Maya would have taken me back into the world. But, so that sentiments of poverty, pain, fear will pull you into that world. But otherwise, if I am detached and loving, so I did whatever I made efforts, it helped me to be safe and make others, safe. This is my dharana. And now I don't get affected with anything which I see because it's fine because we understand karma philosophy, we understand the path, the time, a lot of things. I mean, when I was in Somalia, that fine morning in the hotel, they came to tell me that today we've lost one of our staff in car bomb. He was coming to work and he was standing there and the car bomb blasted and he died. Can you imagine? You know, and they were all very sad in the hotel. The hotel was very beautiful, run by Turkish, but the staff is Kenyan, Somalis, other African people, you know. And so this boy was a Somali boy who died very young. I mean, so many people in this iron age die in this way, you know, unexpected. Now, we can't get affected with all these things because then we are getting involved in their karmic accounts also. But when you understand this fine line, then you have to be detached and loving. And how do you become detached and loving is, again, tapasya. A lot of tapasya is needed for that. You know, not only detached and loving tapasya, but just tapasya. What we did in COVID lockdown, you know, it was unconditional, not limited tapasya. Silence was unlimited. You know, Baba's remembrance was unlimited. And wherever it needs to go, it will go, it will provide, you know. So that's what I experienced.
Anyone else? Thank you, Pratibha, Ben. So practical, so clear. Anyone else with a question for our dear sister? It's a bit awe-inspiring, isn't it? You say yes. Debbie, go ahead.
I'm thinking about some of the stories you've told and wonder, a long time ago, I think we had a conversation about collective karma, and I'm wondering if you can
Yes.
say anything about individual compared to collective karma.
Yes, yes, of course. I think, you know, we have collective karma in the form of Lokic family. Then, of course, you know, the country, the city. Um, then you could also say, you know, the centers, the yagya, you know, a lot of it. But then what I feel is, I personally feel, I might be wrong, that COVID-19 pandemic has become the world karma, you know, the whole world's wholesale karma. This is what I feel. Any other, like, you know, the European depression and whatever, like the Hitler's time, all that wasn't world karma, the Hiroshima bomb, but this is one pandemic which has become a world karma. And so many people left the body. A lot of our loved ones, Brahmins, have also left body, you know, even in Africa. But the thing is that on other side, this pandemic has given us a lot also, I would say. A lot, because we were just so focused on one area, you know, whether it's human beings or whether it's Brahmins. Everything was just so mundane and limited. Brahmins also thought it's only action, action, and action, you know, never silence. Even if we created silence programs, it wasn't so much of encouragement. And that's when, you know, this took over. And so COVID has given us, I mean, taken us a lot, but it's given us a lot also. And so I feel that, you know, what you call mass karma is like aircrafts, you know, like air crash or earthquake or tsunamis, where all these souls will come together. I know one Brahmin, I wouldn't say Brahmin, but friend of Brahmin, Brahmin's BK, friend of BK. She was taking her course and sometimes coming, an American lady in Nairobi Center. She was very lovely, you know. And when we had the American bomb blast, the American embassy bomb blast, she was not even in her office. She went all the way to another office, and that's where she died, you know. And so, like, if it's your karmic account in that wholesale gathering, then of course you will walk towards it and you will, you know, claim it. And there were many who were not part of that. That day they decided not to go to work, you know, because of some reason or the other reason. And they were saved, they didn't die. So these are just little examples I'm giving you. So if it is your karmic, you know, bondage with that whole thing. So I remember one time, you know, in that year, there was a lot of crashes, air crash, and I was on my way for service. to do some program somewhere. And our flight, because they became extra cautious, our flight returned back 3 times, saying there was a technical fault. And everybody was getting very upset that I have to reach for a business meeting and I have to reach for this and that. But I was on that flight. And because we did, that was in 1988, and we did a special meditation for 88 hours. And we gave it in the newspaper in Nairobi, in Kenya. And a lot of people knew that we were doing this meditation for world peace and safety. And so they told me, we've been saved on this flight because of you. And I was like, why? So we read in the newspaper that you're doing 88 hours of special meditation. And we completed that 88 hours on 8/8/88, 8th of August, 1988. And so they knew it, So it's like, because of one soul or one person's karmic positive account, everybody is saved. And sometimes it's all of their, karmic bondage, which take them from one side to the other side. So yes, this pandemic has become the world, account, I think.